Kia ora tātou, kia whakaiti ahau, ko Waikare Moana te Waikaukau, o ki mātua tipuna, ko Tūhoi, Ruapani, me Ngāti Kahungunu nā iwi. Ko au te pauarataki mo te Taiao, me o ngā rawa mo Ngāti Kahungunu, Iwi Incorporated. So, as Shade said, So, I'm privileged and I'm grateful to have this position with the Iwi. I've been here for 15 years and I used to have a lot more hair, like Shade said, before when I first started in this job, and I was a bit skinnier too. Huge gratitude to all of you for coming out today. The weather's been shit, let's be honest, but this is our environment, this is what we're talking about, and it impacts our lives, and you know, we're here hopefully today to see how can we better, you know, manage, include ourselves in the environment, and for those decision makers in this space. So huge acknowledgement to you guys coming. Huge gratitude to our speakers. I love listening to our whānau from our tai whenua, our kōrero, especially those who come from afar, sharing their experiences, their expertise. It's kōrero, it's refreshing and reinvigorating, and I like it. It helps, you know, refresh and remind us when we're late at night in the office, you know, why are we doing this, and in some of the rarus we are in, which I want to talk about and be a bit, perhaps thought-provoking, maybe controversial. So this is our 13th official summit. I'd also like a special thank you to Whanganui Aorotu, their staff come here today and help awhi this kaupapa. And lastly, you know, this has been my responsibility for years, the fishhook, but really it's my colleagues at the office who do everything to bring this together. I would say I've been organising, but really it's Ruth Wong, she's organises me. And she's been doing it for a long time, and she's telling me off ever so nicely. She's got a way about it, and I appreciate you, Ruth Wong, and the team, and our support services, actually smart services, which I sometimes call smart ass services, but kia ora, yes. So, tutuing around with, what do you call it, PowerPoint, it's not my thing. So, what is our vision? What is our Taiao vision for Ngāti Kahungunu, across Kahungunu? Is there a collective vision? It's just an iwi vision, hapu vision, Māori vision, multiple visions, double vision. What are the challenges to achieve this vision? You know, visions, goals, objectives, wawata, they're all the same thing. But there's definitely challenges. So climate change is one big challenge that's been talked about. Baden talked about the need for kotahitanga, and you know, we've been talking about this government is the biggest problem, and that's no secret. Oh gosh. So our 25-year vision, it was coming up to an end in a couple of years. I was supposed to steal that bell when I got up here, but still acknowledge Hine with her awesome timekeeping bell. Kia ora Hine. Supposed to take that bell. Protecting our environment. So this is our 25-year vision, and you know, my kōrero might seem a bit redundant, so why am I asking about, as a part of our values, to protect our environment? Hopefully some clarity will come to why I'm putting this up, and after listening to all the kōrero, it does seem relevant. Also in our Kahungunu Tiuka, Kahungunu ki Tai, one of our goals is environmental issues affecting inland waterways and coastal waters are more effectively managed to maintain, restore and enhance Māori. That's one of our goals. So are these still relevant? I think I could reword that a bit better to be a bit more stronger. Take out more effective, take out maintain. Restore and enhance Māori. It's pretty simple. Apologies, going to be a bit repetitive. Should this be our vision, and this is what I'm getting to, except when, profit. Is this a condition on protecting our environment? Because making money, you know, it's a priority for many, let's be honest. Should this be at the expense of our traditional values? I'm trying not to tell you what to think, but I'll do my best. Do we just leave this whakaaro acknowledgements in our karakia, in our pepeha? This is a serious pātai. Taiao advocacy has these challenges. My understanding is our Taiao advocacy is inherent in being tangata whenua. It's not inseparable, the Taiao, it's part of us. So it may be weird asking this question, but I guarantee this may not be explicitly asked, but it is an issue being traversed and perhaps asked behind closed doors. Shane Jones will be coming around, inviting people to dinners, offering candy, etc., etc. And we need to ask ourselves, my timing is, what is the bottom line? What is the primary or most important consideration? So this term originates, I think you'll understand what it is, but this term originates from business. The line at the bottom of financial report that shows the net profit or loss. That's one definition of it, and that's where it comes from. We need to ask ourselves, what is our bottom line, and ignore what's been told to us, and being told what's good for us, because I constantly hear it all the time, to be honest. I mean, not saying from our own, that's fine, but being told what's good for us, how our values should be interpreted, how they should be implied, etc. We can own those and ask our own trusted experts how we demystify or how our values should be interpreted into management, policy, operations. Sorry, these all sound like geeky words, but it's a reality. And to be honest, it's not always a nice space in this potential conflict conversation that we traverse. And there was a talk mentioned earlier, and I agree that we should involve more rangatahi in this space, but not in. It's not a nice space all the time. So I take a lot of my kids to a hui, but in certain hui I don't take them. And why not? We should take them, but I don't think it's safe all the time. And if you recall Tina Pero's picture, she had a little meme up with, that was amongst our own, but that's all right. But I'm talking about the conflict that exists otherwhere, where basically I feel that being Māori is questioned. So bottom line, triple bottom line, quadruple bottom line. So rather than just the economic profit bottom line, you move to this, you may have a triple bottom line, adding the environment and social considerations, finding that sweet spot. That looks okay. Or even arguably better, a quadruple bottom line, adds cultural considerations, improvement from three bottom lines. However, these lines, or these bottom lines, still have Western origins from a financial spreadsheet bottom line. You get that? Oh, what? So I'm calling this a quadruple bottom line, but a Māori quadruple bottom line. If you look at those circles there, where if the environment is good, then our culture is within that, social and economic fits within that model. So Dr. Kepa Morgan, this is from his Modiomata model. He's Kahungunu. He's actually gave evidence for us for the Tuki and the Ruataniwha Dam. That was years ago, 10 years ago, I think. But this isn't uncommon. This is our thinking. So this is us. So step out of other spaces, those other, even though they may look good, and step into what is us, by our whakapapa, and that's more us. It's a challenge, but I think these benefits are across the board. It's not just what's good for Māori, it's what's good for everyone, if I'm honest. And Professor Shelley Spiller talked about having this holistic sphere, and that's us, this holistic sphere, inclusive of more unseen considerations. And Crystal Pekapo whakapono. So it's not uncommon, and Tina brought it up te mano o te wai. So putting water first. It's very similar to, what? Fix me, please. Very similar to that interwoven spheres of what's good for the environment, putting the water first, then the health needs of people, such as drinking water, then third, social, economic, culture, which is basically economics. I would argue that our culture sits in those top two. And I decided to have a tutu with this and put Ngāti Kahungunu quadruple bottom line, recognise te mana o te taiao as a priority. So tuatahi, in the words in the bold, I don't know why they're lighter colour, but the words in the bold is for te mana o te wai, but just adding mana, Māori specifically, because my argument with te mana o te wai, you can't call it te mana o te wai and not have mana up the top in the first priority. It's in the whole term of it. And we've got to own these definitions so that are ours and the interpretation of them. And then I've just put human health, which is, I think, is important, because I've heard the rhetoric that of this government, bugger the culture, bugger the environment, well, not in those words, but it's pretty much that. What about the human health? And you've seen what happened here with the gastro outbreak, and you've seen what happened with bad management of, look, Cyclone Gabriel happened, and last year we talked about a whole bunch of ideas or ways that we can perhaps minimise, or if not avoid, the impacts. And that affects human health. People's lives, people lost their lives. Mahinga kai, arguably that fits above, but I thought I'd just chuck it in there as our third priority to sit above those bottom ones. Okay, so I asked this question, is protecting the environment important? What informs us? What informs my work, or what we do? And this is the Declaration on Ngāti Kahungunu Rights, or part of it. I kind of cropped it a bit, so less to read, and concentrates on the relative Taiao statements, which are not in conflict with anything that I've taken out. And the full text can be found on our website, but with respect to the conversations we had about with the hui taumata, constitutionally, this declaration of Ngāti Kahungunu Rights is perhaps our strongest, or most long-held public statement and position, and I find it helps recenter us. So this kōrero was had well before my time, and I'm sure it's still hold and still relevant today. It seems for me to emphasise the protection of te taiao and our obligations as kaitiaki, or simply being Māori. Okay, I've got a bit of a questions here, hope you, or quiz. What do I do? No. Okay, so I took a couple of hapu vision statements. Have a look at them. There's two, the top one and the bottom one. I've tried to cover up what hapu there are, so I'm looking for anybody who can put their hand up who actually knows, not just make it up, but actually knows what hapu is this part of their hapu plan or vision statement. Anyone know? Oh, you can't see it? Oh, God, I can't hardly see it either. We have partaken of the food garden sown by our ancestors. It's time for us to re-sow to ensure sustenance for generations to come. Where's that from? Anybody? No, I heard Operation Pātiki. No. No. Okay. No, he's all Ngāti Kere. The top one's from Ngāti Kere. Okay, the next one. Te toto o te tangata he kai, te oranga o te tangata he oranga taonga tuku iho. Food supplies, the blood of the people, their welfare depends on the health of the treasures left by our ancestors. Anyone? I don't think anyone will get this because I tested someone who comes from this hapu and they had no idea. Hey, Daniel. Anybody? Te rā katoa. There were heaps of hapu plans out there, but most of them mentioned their hapu and where they're from, so I didn't want that in there. You know how I scribbled out Ngāti Kere up the top there. So I guess I'm just emphasising, you know, we look at these documents, we read these, even though these are old, these are quite old, and obviously they're not that familiar. I don't know where I found them, in the archives. Hapu awa goals, sorry, they might be a bit small, so there's the top left, bottom right. Any guesses? Hands up? No? Oh, no one's getting a chocolate fish. See, our rangatahi at the back there, we include our rangatahi to hand out the chocolate fish to anyone who gets this. So, Shade's son, Thomas is over there. Anybody? No. See, that's how we include our rangatahi. That's what the... Okay, I've got to remember. Who the hell's... I wrote it. Top left. I heard it before. Ah, no, hapu. Wow. One hapu. O marae. No. Kuhu Pātiki. Who said that? Bring the chocolate fish. Someone said it, the others just copied. So Operation Pātiki, that's there. Achieving sufficient water flow, improving water quality, protecting, restoring traditional riparian mud, fish habitat. Okay, last one. This ain't working out too well, but the bottom one here, anybody? Who? No. Sorry, I don't know if you might not be able to see it. Who's that? Who's the hapu? Oh. Okay, maybe all our hapu awa goals are the same anyway, so I can understand, and you can't hardly read it. So, Tukaha here? Oh, wow. All right, nā hapu o tūtaikuri technically, but pretty much Ngāti. No, you used it. Yeah, chocolate fish down here. Oh, and Tessie's next year, you better start reading your own hapu plans. That's not as old as the last ones as well. So back to protecting our environment. Yep, that's the full part and the goal. Okay, now. Righto. I get it, still a vision. It's all in our documents, we talk about it. And within your conference bags, there's the vision in there. Are these bullet points still relevant? You know, protecting our cultural landmarks. Remember Rungokako, Te Mata? Yep, everyone went down there. Are they still relevant? We hope to put these questions on our website in the form of a survey. So watch this space. So where's Kieran? Is he gone? Just letting him know. Watch the space, please bear with us. I thought I'd just chuck this up there too, our cultural values are priority above profit. So this was, I have to acknowledge, Whaia Ngātai, she came up with this, and if she found out I used this without, yep, I'd be in trouble. And if anyone knows has been there, yeah, been told off. So, you know, so our values, manaakitanga, kaitiakitanga, wairoatanga, all the tangas. So do we just say it for fun? Our values, and you know, this other thing again, sick of us, sick of us, what's your values? They're no mystery. It's like been around for years. I've read old documents at the Iwi going 20 years back plus, and it's the same stuff, same problems. No wonder I'll find again in Hoha. Sorry, I've shared this like 100 times, you know, this is our objectives, this helps guide us, there's lots of work just from these objectives. I did a slight change from last year. Does anyone pick out any change? We got anything, got a better incentive than a chocolate fish? Yeah, mana, who said that? Yeah, I had oh wow, I put it in bold even, so, but yep, chocolate fish over there. And objectives post-cyclone, our objectives. So Shay talked about these. That's you know, quite a bit to take in there. Basically in our headwaters, native afforestation and protecting existing natives. In the floodplains, so much work can be done to improve that. That's that wānanga and Mahu that Shay talked about. and again down in Waipukurau for the tuki with Crystal Pekepo at Central Lines on Wednesday. But making room for our rivers, restoring the floodplains. Shay just talked about one project that there's been a problem with limiting the amount of water recharging our aquifer. So if our argument is you're taking too much water out of our aquifer, then it can sustain itself and it's been mined and it's going downward. You're also limiting how much goes in. So it's a double-edged, multiple problems. Yet then we want to build these artificial mechanisms where we're not even looking after what our natural, these natural assets, or, well, not assets because that sounds commercial, but natural taonga we have. Just look after them and let them look after themselves and stop interfering. The other thing with these schemes and a lot of engineering is it costs a lot of money. That's an increase in public and ratepayers and taxpayers' money. Yeah, we need that. Kia ora. We need that for ourselves. So situation, part of the context for our struggles and these tough conversations. I just changed the slide from last year. Now it's whatever legislation they had. I just put faster track legislation, rape, pillage, and plunder. That's what we got in store. More Mining Dams Act. It's not the name, but they may as well call it that. And Three Waters, I don't know, Kore Waters. Te mana o te wai's gone into te mana o te wine. So, this fast track, we need our checks and balances. They don't even get it right when we can have a minuscule input into the checks and balances. So, there's a few lolly scrambles being chucked about in the mix, and we'll get taken down a conversation that is distracting. So here. Boom. Oh my God. Went over this 10 years ago, 22,000 pages of information for the Tuki catchment proposal in the Ruataniwha water storage scheme. Yeah, I try not to put words in people's mouth. I'm informed by these values we apparently have, and our job is to look into, like I say, what's the unseen or unspoken about considerations? Water quality. Water quality and human health. I'll put that up there specifically. We're not opposed to water storage, but can we look after what we have already? Can we properly manage that? Are we over abstracted and over allocated, which we think that's been the problem? And I'll get into the water quality. So I just want to highlight a couple of things that we face that people might not be aware of. Greenwashing, you may or may not have heard this term. It's usually associated with marketing strategies for consumer products. You know, oh, this is environmentally friendly, buy this. Or I think when you go to hotels, they say, oh, use the shampoo and that sparingly. That's not nothing but the environment. They just want to save money. That's greenwashing. Activities by a company or organisation that are intended to make people think that it's concerned about the environment, even if its real business actually harms the environment. And I see this all the time. My notes, this BS is quite common. But look, to be fair, some actually want there to be more positives than negatives. But that want doesn't actually necessarily translate to reality, particularly when an investment or potential profit is at stake. So you're kind of biased. And myth, dams are good for the environment. Reality, dams cause substantial, I didn't make this up, sorry. I can't remember the source, I'm not as efficient as Mike, I'm a bit blasé with my slides. Dams cause substantial environmental impacts, especially if supporting increased irrigation, and that's the rub, the increased irrigation. And Mike's gone on about that quite extensively. But I'm going to show you some, more alarming concerns. And it's going to be worse with climate change. This is used as, let's be resilient, do this with climate change. But they're using climate change as a Trojan horse to actually push this through. This is resilient for irrigation and to build there will be more dairies because you can't fund a big dam, which was the original proposal, the biggest dam in this country's history, without people buying the water. And they can't afford to buy the water if they're not, if it's not a land use that has a high turnover like dairy. Again, we went through this 10 years ago, 22,000 pages. Oh, it's a headache. And yeah, I've already stated publicly before, and like Shade said, that's caused a target, you know, mostly from Pākehā, and I don't mind. It's actually, it's hard when it's our own, but oh well. And this is what I want to show them. This, okay, nitrogen concentration in the Ruataniwha aquifer. So on this axis, y-axis, Shade? Yeah, this axis, this is the milligrams of nitrate nitrogen per litre. And down the bottom is the years, 1990 to 2018. So that red bright line over there is the New Zealand drinking water standard of 11.3 milligrams per litre. I actually went to court with the Regional Council about that 11.3 milligrams. It's a long story, it's a headache, but we won. And all those over top, that's terrible, and that's showing an increase trend of those readings. The line down the bottom, a group of experts, science technical experts recommended 1 milligram per litre. So that's where it should be. That's where it should be for a whole range of reasons for our ecosystem, and particularly if this is your drinking water source supply. That was in a science technical group, and a few from MPI disagreed with it. I think it was MPI, I can't remember. But the majority agreed with it. A majority of scientists say that it should be lowered. Also, what's not on here is in 2016, Shade and Joella Brown, in their private capacity, collected a lot more data that showed even worse dots that are not on there. So we'll blame it on Joella for leaking the information to us. She wouldn't mind at all. And it wasn't used, it wasn't put on here. So, and also a few years back, we went out and sampled wells ourselves that also were over the drinking water standard, like 16 milligrams and 18 milligrams, if I recall. We went out with Crystal and Tautoko and some other whānau from the Tamatea Tai Whenua, because we've got to know for ourselves, you know, and trying to build that trust and have that conversation in the Ruataniwha Plains while we're driving a van load of people checking these wells, and kia ora to Shade, he goes and knocks on the farmer's door and they have no idea who we are. Can we go check your well? And he's very good at that schmoozing people. And then I don't know if we'll be allowed back after that and after this public announcement, but it's a concern. And these are high nitrate, nitrogen, a whole lot of crap comes with it. This is just an example, and there's a list of health impacts associated with increased nitrates. I just took out a few from cancers, reproductive outcomes, antibiotic resistance, pathogen survival and abundance. There's a whole document of problems within your bag, conference bag, and then it has references to the studies on it, like there's about 33 references. I like to say that I've read all these and I can tell you categorically there's a problem, but I haven't got the time, so I find people that I trust who have read all these and have actually provided to us. So we don't just talk about the problem, we are trying to support a research bid to remediate the nitrate nitrogen in the groundwater, to fix it, to clear it out. But it's no use trying to fix it and clear it out if we're not stopping the problem coming down, because the fixing is not, you can't get rid of it all, it's more localised. So the point is intensifying land use brings bad health effects. So if you support a huge irrigation dam that can only survive from intensified land use in dairy, you're supporting cancer. I'm just cutting to the chase. And I don't like it. I'd rather say let's stop this than row 1,000 kilometres to support awareness of cancer or funding. It's Let's try and use our knowledge and apply it. Moving on from brown washing, there's another one. Oh, sorry, greenwashing, there's brown washing. Yeah. Behavioural activities that make people believe that a group is doing more to protect the cultural values than it really is. Oh, and here's an example of it. Yes, I found this definition from a very trusted intelligence source. I made it up. So this example gives effect to Te Mano Te Wai, creates a platform for genuine transformative partnership between iwi and a wider community. I cut and paste this directly from a Pākehā proposal, and I'm just honest, this is sounds good, but it's a load of rubbish. So, yeah, they're the authors, and they're looking to profit. There's a significant bias, so it's a step further from greenwashing, and yeah, I make no qualms about that. We are being exploited and taken advantage of to rubber stamp projects. Hopefully that's controversial enough. My comments don't make me popular, really, amongst rich, powerful Pākehās. I've been told this, and as Shade said, some people want us to be fired. Anyway, the real issues. So what's lolly jars got to do with it? Water management and irrigators, lolly management and tamariki. This is my little analogy. In managing the water, how much water we have, it's been a bit of a free-for-all. So for my kids, I don't let them have free-for-all on the lollies. Put them in a jar, put the lid on, put it on the top shelf. The water has been like picture C, outside the jar, on the table, help yourself. It's not even B with a lid on it. Can we just put a lid on it? And they don't, I love my kids, but they don't get what they want all the time. Their teeth will start to rot. And it costs more to fix it up, and it creates bigger problems. In that moment, they're all high on sugar and energy, and they love it, but it's going to have consequences later. That's the point. That's my lollies. Lollies is the water. So, and let's face it, in the parenting, in our parenting techniques with our children, I might get in trouble, but mum might say one thing, and dad might say the other. Mum might leave the lolly jar lid off. Or dad. No, I don't. It's mum. She leaves the lolly jar off. So in this partnership with council and decision makers, kia ora council, you left the lolly jar off, and dad needs to be part of this co-parenting. We've been, tangata whenua, we've been left off in this co-parenting. We want to just put the lid on, put it on the top shelf. I'm getting to the end. Thank you for still listening. So I'm going to got a couple of examples of challenges. This profit versus the environment. So years ago, I just use this for all it's worth. We opposed, or our advice from a Taiao unit is to oppose the increase of crayfish ACE, annual catchment entitlement. This cost our company 750,000. Yep. It was a busy week. I almost cost the council 30 million in the same week. Short-term decision to protect the long-term recruitment. So basically, we asked the experts. What the fishermen said, our catches are dropping. We're not catching it. We asked a marine expert, Shade, and he says, the increase doesn't make sense, or to be precautionary approach. The juvenile crayfish in their perigillus, I can't pronounce it, life cycle stage are at risk, particularly due to the El Nino effects and the warming sea temperatures, blah, blah. You get the point? I'm like, okay, just trust the expert, Shade. Why do we have them in the first place? And so, yeah, that's a tough conversation, but hats off to the company. We didn't increase the catch, even though it was against 8 other iwi in the same fisheries management unit who wanted to increase it. This was done in Wairarapa. So that's an example of a challenge, tough decision, but we made it. This other one, corrections, Hawke's Bay Prison, orchard development, hapu MOU, potentially return the land. Well, we calculated, and this is to dig into it, that the prison wanted to increase their water take by 5,200%. So what they took in a year, they wanted to take each week, week after week. So Bridgepa, I think we're all pretty familiar with the water issues in Bridgepa. They run out of water. Their streams run out, their taps run out, the aquifers drop in, and a whole lot of bad effects for that. Down the road, the prison wanted to increase their water take by 5,200%. We had to dig through the detail and calculate that to tell who to kind of stop that proposal going forward. This is about being informed in the discussion. If you agree to this, this is the consequences. And also acknowledging, Bridgepa, the mana whenua, in terms of water, the consequences would have been felt downstream in Pakipaki, who weren't even part of the conversation. So mana whenua, yes, but water has its own pathway, and those who be affected might be downstream. So that's just a lesson there. So that was stopped. It was just before Christmas. It was just a hoha, but it's just importance of understanding what's at stake. And I've put the rua taniwha going to happen anyway. That's the most terrible justification I've ever heard for supporting it. Like they're just going to change in the laws to make it happen, so we should just accept it. We should give consent. Shall we pull Papatuanuku's pants down then? Or even worse, join in the pillage and plunder? It's just silly. Yeah, and my whānau live down in Central Hawke's Bay and drink the drinking water, and I've said move. Just move. But we shouldn't give consent. I don't see any reason. I'm happy to have that debate discussion with those who support it. Amongst ourselves, the Pākehā business proponents, I'm like, waste my time. I think this is my last second, or almost to the end. Principles of engagement, free, prior and informed consent. This is part of the UNDRIP, United Nations Declaration of Rights of Indigenous Peoples. Why reinvent the wheel? What this means is free. If they want to your consent and engagement, it needs to be free from coercion, no pressure. And I tell you, that always happens. There's always coercion. It needs to be prior. It needs to be in a timely fashion, not after the decision's already been made. Be part of the decision, right? We're often given, we created the problem, here's the solution, A, B or C, pick one. And we're not involved in creating alternative solutions or in the problem definition. And informed, I've circled that one because the last slide sort of relates to it. Being informed. Invest in our own experts, our own relationships. This is perhaps the most important aspect. Experts, trusted experts. Not lobbyists or biased profiteers, but experts. Be informed or have trust in those, find some trust. So Moana Jackson used to preach about this, and anything he said is pretty much gold in my mind. I'm sure you would agree. So, whānau, take a closer look. Sift out the bullshit. Find the trusted source. Lobbyists will push hard and probably are pushing hard to overcome this, perhaps understand the values and issues and what are our bottom lines, if any. What do you value and what is being represented on your behalf? Please be aware. So that's going back to there. What is our bottom line? Do words match actions? Who said that earlier? I think a few people, Crystal, definitely, maybe Kataraina said it. Let's avoid, and this is my last slide. Let's avoid Kahungunu Game of Thrones. Who sits on the throne? Do we need a throne? Are we being divided, conquered? What are the issues? Should be specific kaupapa. Not arguing amongst ourselves is a distraction. If we can't weave people together, let's weave our whakaaro together.